Hello, welcome back to my studio. Today I'm going to be pursuing the idea of loose painting and adding a few more tips to get that loose and impressionist style of painting. Plus there's going to be a demonstration as well, so stick around and see what's coming up. Now, those of you who have been following my channel for some time will know that I'm always banging on about loosening up your painting. And that's because I'm inspired by the impressionist style of painting, and I've sort of adapted it into my own style of painting. Loose with big shapes and a big brush, lots of color and lots of paint. There are a few more tips I'd like to add besides using big shapes and big brushes. And that is practicing your painting in a limited amount of time. Now, it's not about time saving. This is about reducing the opportunity to fiddle and procrastinate through your painting and just add too many details with a little brush. So what I like to do is to do what I call a painting sprint. Setting yourself a time to complete the painting helps you to focus, helps you to emphasize the big shapes, the lights and darks, to use your brush, especially a large brush, and getting large shapes. It's not about doing a sloppy painting or cutting corners. It's simply about taking a step forward in the learning process. So what sort of times am I talking about? Well, you can work 30 minutes, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. I don't think longer than an hour is particularly helpful when you are practicing like this. Now, one way to help with this process, of course, is to use small painting surfaces. The 6x8 or 10x12 is the best way to work within a short time frame. So I'm going to show you a demonstration where I tried out this exercise and I set a 30-minute time limit. So have a look at the demonstration. I'll talk through this. I have shortened the demonstration for this video, of course, but I worked with 30 minutes and completed the painting within that time. Now, the reference is quite a complicated scene with lots and lots of shapes and details. So start drawing this in. As I've aimed for 30 minutes, I want to keep the pencil flowing and get that composition down quickly, kind of organically, just looking at the shapes and keep that moving along. You could do this with a paintbrush as well if you want, with a little bit of loose paint. But either way, just get your composition in and then straight into the big brushes. Number 8 bristle brush, basic palette, typical palette that I use, except for quinacridone red. I may need that for some of the reddish pinks in this scene. Getting in the big dark shapes. This is basically an underpainting or a blocking in, and I'll go over and develop shapes as I develop the painting. Just push and pull that paint on the palette, get your colors mixed but not over mixed. A lot of attractive paint effects are created just by mixing in a fairly loose fashion. The most important thing is get your values accurate. You don't want to change the darks to lights and confuse the scene that way. So get your values accurate and you can play around with your color. When you work quickly, it's almost intuitive. You don't give yourself time to second guess. I see a yellow green. I quickly try and grab a yellow green off the palette and just put that down, like assembling a jigsaw puzzle. some of the lighter sky colors. Two big brush strokes, that's most of the sky taken care of. There's some lovely purple flowers on a distant tree. Mix up a nice light violet. Put that down. Here I've switched to a number 6 brush for some of those smaller shapes, but a number 8 would do as well. I'm mostly interested in keeping the paint clean, so swapping brushes around helps with that. One brush for the darks, another brush for lights, and so on. Now these trees on the right are a yellowish green, but I'm pushing things towards the yellow to just bring in a little bit more light. This particular scene was fairly cool light. It had been raining, but I thought, let's push the colors a little to the brighter range or higher key, and that's why there's a bit more yellow. Now don't forget to pay attention to things like edges. You can still soften an edge. You can actually do a lot in 30 minutes. Of course, this is a small format, so you can get quite a lot achieved in that amount of time. But even if you set an hour, that is plenty of time to get the important shapes down. And don't worry if it doesn't work out the first time. That is important because you only learn from your mistakes. It's very seldom we take anything forward from successes, although of course we do enjoy those, and some lessons do stick, but it's when something goes wrong that you really focus on that and you hopefully go for the solution and move forward. So never worry about mistakes, they are essential. So already I like the energy of the colors and the shapes. That is so very important. If I'm not excited about how the painting is developing through shape and color, then I know I've got a problem. I can always refine shapes, but if they're wrong to begin with, I'm always battling. This way, the shapes are fairly loose and suggestive of details, which is just what I want. This building, for instance, there's a lot of information there, but squint your eyes a little and have a look for the shapes of light and shadow. Put that down. About 5 or 6 shapes, and that's pretty much all you need. I find this approach to painting much more exciting than laboring on a very large painting. I think this just engages my attention, and every person has their preferences, and that's fine. But a good sprint now and then keeps things interesting. Quick shadow. I could have put this shadow in earlier when I was doing the darks, but I suppose I got caught up in the process and left that out. Now into the lights, just pushing these colors around. There's violets, there's alizarin, some white. and these blues in the shadows. Very attractive colors. They all work together. There's a lot of harmony. And now I'm just varying the values. Lighter in the distance, also a bit cooler, gives that spatial effect. A few more shadows and some information on the left. Nothing too distracting, but just getting a few little bits and pieces in, breaking up a few large areas. And now a few verticals, suggesting the fence posts and electrical posts, and some figures. And that's basically the painting done. And I must say I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the challenge, and I think it helps. So have a go. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Well, I hope that's given you some ideas that you can apply to your practicing. Try out a small painting format, large brush, big shapes, and work quickly, set a time, and you'll see an immediate appreciation of what's important in the scene. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video as well. And if you want to learn more about this painting style, I've got a free course that you can look up in the link above here and the links below, and have a look at what I've got on offer there for you as well. All right, until next time, cheers for now.